Hi, because our first face-to-face lesson is next week, we've created a presentation to help students learn how to navigate Moodle for the online courses for engineering, Mitk, Alef, and Bet. Let's begin. If it's the first time you're learning online, it's not so easy when you're sitting by yourself just with the computer. It's kind of like being on a desert island. So what are the keys to success? First, budget your time to work on English a few times a week. Don't wait until the night before the lesson is due. So, therefore, you will keep up with the Moodle tasks and assignments. Review the feedback from the instructor or the computer-generated feedback, and check the lesson sum up in Moodle a week after each lesson closes. Email your instructor immediately when you have a question. Contact him or her if you have difficulties. And always come to review your midterm exam, that's called open notebooks, to see how you can do better for the final exam. So, how does the course work? Every week there's an online lesson. It opens on Wednesday morning and it closes on the following Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock. During that week, you must complete the Moodle tasks and assignments and submit them. You will get feedback, some of it inside the tasks themselves and through the lesson sum up, which will show up on Moodle about 5 to 7 days after you finish the lesson. And don't forget there are 3 face-to-face lessons on campus. If you do not complete a Moodle assignment or task, you receive a 0 for that. This 0, or these zeros, are averaged into your class grade, and we'll talk about the class grade shortly. Assignments and tasks cannot be made up except for Army Reserve duty and other exceptional situations. So, after you've worked on a particular task, or you've uploaded your assignment, how and where do you see your corrections and grades? You will get regular feedback and messages from lecturers during the course. We will correct and comment on questions in the Moodle quizzes. In your Moodle assignments, we'll notify you if you did not submit a task or complete a task or assignment, and we post the lesson sum up. You are responsible for checking grades and reading all messages. So here's where you find your grades. This is a snapshot of our main course site. Look carefully. There's a red arrow. And here is the grades in words and a square icon. You click here in order to see your grades. Your grades will open up, and you will see them appear as here on the right. If you look carefully, you can see the grades for this previous student. These are the reading tasks, up from 0 to 100. If there's no score for a task, don't panic yet. Either you haven't submitted it or it hasn't been graded by your instructor yet. So, how do you get feedback from your teacher? Some feedback is automatically done inside Moodle quizzes. You click on the blue link of a quiz, you look for the blue review link or button, and it'll take you into the quiz itself. Go over each question and look for feedback. This is generated feedback by the computer itself. You can see that the person got the answer wrong. This is specific computer-generated feedback that your teachers make up in advance. This is a different type of feedback in a Moodle quiz. This comes when you're asked to write an answer or type your answer in a Moodle text box. Here, the teacher generates the feedback him or herself, and it's specific to the answer of the student. Now, what about the Word files that you upload? Corrections are made using Review, Track Changes. You click at the top of your Word doc. You'll see the mistakes and corrections in 2 different colors. Your score will be typed at the bottom of your document in color, and you will receive the graded document by email. Sometimes your instructor will ask you to upload a PDF instead. That type of correction and commenting looks different. For example, this student got this question correct, as you can see by the green check mark. This is different types of corrections, and the teacher added a comment here in a text box. Now, teachers can't read your mind, but we certainly can read your writing. So if you have a question, email and ask. We can meet face-to-face or we can meet online. Please don't stay silent when you have a question or a problem. So, a little bit of information about emails. The subject line of your email must be complete. No subject line, it goes to spam and it's not read. So what should be in your subject line? Your name, your course name and day, if required, and the topic of the email. What is your email about? For example, Yaakov Levy, Mitk Alef, Thursday class, Writing Smart Home Future. What does this tell the teacher? Yaakov is in the Thursday Mitk Alef class and has a question about the Smart Home of the Future writing task. And please sign your emails with your first name and last initial. So where is the subject line? Here's an example of Rocky, one of the teachers in our courses. In the subject line, it says, Shiri Rothman, B, MQ, how to deal with vocabulary not open. So the teacher knows that Shiri Rothman is in Mitk Bet, and there's a problem with a Moodle quiz called how to deal with vocabulary. She repeated it here in her email, and she signed it. Now, why is this so important? Because most Rupin teachers have 60 to 120 students a semester. Many students, even in the same class, have the same first name. And believe it or not, there are students in the same class sometimes with the same first name and last name. This gives us the ability to look at a subject line and very quickly know how to prioritize answering emails, which are urgent and which can wait. So here's 3 examples. I'm not going to read them to you. You can simply click on the pause button and read them yourself. Now, what about labeling a Word document or a PDF? Many teachers want the label to be complete. So again, it would have your name, the course name and day, and the task name. Here's an example, Vladimir B. Mitk Bet, writing personal response. So Vladimir is a Mitk Bet student and is uploading the personal response writing assignment. Now, I'm sure you want to know how the course grade is broken down. There's 3 components. Your class grade is 50%, the midterm is 15%, and the final exam is 35%. Let's take a closer look at the class grade. There are subcomponents. Reading comprehension, reading strategies, and language, which includes vocabulary and grammar, is worth 60% of the class grade. Listening is worth 15%, and writing is worth 25%. That adds up to 100% of the class grade. So, how do you get your final course grade? I suggest you pause and read this, but very quickly to go over it, you must have a 60 overall average. That means 60 on the final exam and a 60 for the class grade. Please read about the midterm exam. It is not compulsory, but if you do not take it, there is no MOED bet, and the weight of the final exam automatically becomes 50%. We highly recommend you take the midterm because it is good practice for the final exam. And then come and see it at Open Notebooks with your teacher. Be sure you save the dates for our face-to-face lessons, and if you can't come, let your teacher know in advance. There might be an alternative. We end with a quote about doing the impossible. Remember, email if you have questions, and we'll see you next week on campus.